Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. Oh, this is another HPANWO TV book review. And the book I'm going to review today is this one. It's called Revelation by Bill Napier. Bill Napier, he's a Scottish author and he's an astronomer, and it's a kind of he writes sort of books on that subject. This one is it's a thriller actually. It's very, very interesting. It's rather like, I mean, like I said, I like, there's two kinds of books I like. I like the sort of the heavy sort of intellectual books, and I like something more digestible, as I was explaining in my last book review of The Shark Mutiny by Patrick Robinson. Now, this is one of my digestible, easy reading books, but it's not as digestible as The Shark Mutiny. It's a lot better than The Shark Mutiny by far. It's a lot more thought-provoking, it's a lot more well written. It's a lot more sophisticated, and I think it's obviously for someone who's a bit more intelligent. I hope I fit into that. Now, what happens is it's a mystery. It starts like most of these thrillers are. There's an element of mystery and intrigue. It starts off with a man who's a polar explorer finding a frozen wreckage of an aircraft in an iceberg, and there's a briefcase in it containing documents and diaries and things, and he steals them. He takes them, and he takes them away with him, and basically everyone else is trying to get them and track him down and find them. It turns out that these documents are the notes of a scientist who worked on the Manhattan Project to build the atomic bomb. And later on, he defected to the Soviet Union, but the plane crashed. He tried to fly from the United States to the Soviet Union, but the plane crashed. This happened in the 1950s. It turns out that the diaries contain a lot of scientific formulae and papers written down in rough. And they're written in Armenian, which is a language very few people speak outside Armenia, so he has to find a translator, which is always a bit difficult. It turns out the scientist, a man called Lev Petrosian, has discovered free energy, basically the means to create energy out of the vacuum. Now, the vacuum, it's from quantum effects within the vacuum. Don't ask me what I'm talking about. I don't know. I don't know all the details. I know the basics, but quantum theory and things like that. Well, I've watched What the Bleep Do We Know? I hope that counts. And I've read books. I've actually read books by people like Juliana Conforto, who writes about this stuff. Now, she is a physicist, and she knows what she's talking about, even if half the people who read the book don't, including me. I've also read books by Michael Talbot and people like that, Fred Alan Wolfe. Anyway, back to the story. Basically, everyone is trying to track down these documents. The governments are after it, corporations are after it, there's a religious cult after it. Anyway, I won't spoil it for you, but it's a good read actually. It's fun, it's enjoyable, it's exciting, interesting read. But there's an interesting sort of story behind it. Now, there's various different kinds of free energy. This one is where you use hard, heavy physics to basically extract energy from the very vacuum of the universe, where there's no matter, there's no matter, no radiation, just the 0 point vacuum. Now, there's the author in this book raises an interesting sort of a conundrum, and that is, I think this is a conundrum to do with most science and most technology. Now, science and technology are morally neutral; they're neither good nor bad. But you often find is that a lot of scientific advancement can be used for good or bad by people who are not morally neutral, people who are good or bad. I mean, nuclear energy and nuclear science is a perfect example. You can use it to build bombs, which of course people have done, and cause great destruction, these bombs. But you can also use it for good. You can use it to research energy, which of course other scientists have done. It's the same with electricity. I mean, you can use electricity we do use electricity for great good in our civilization. In fact, it's the basis of our civilization. But you can also use electricity as a weapon too. You can use it to electrocute people in execution chambers. You see what I mean? That's what I mean when I say that science can be used for good or bad. Now, we in the truth community often talk about free energy, and we think, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful to have it? And I've always thought that too. And this book has made me reassess that situation, because although on one side, yes, it would be wonderful to have it, but like as with all these other technologies, it's morally neutral and it's capable of being used for great creativity and great benefit, but also for great destruction. And the more powerful it is on one side, the greater it will be on the other side too. So the more energy you can get out of it to do good, the more energy you can get out of it to do bad. And this is the case in this book, because one of the people after it is a Japanese corporation, a multi-billionaire Japanese businessman who wants to shut it down because he's investing in the oil companies. And we've talked a lot about this, about how oil companies don't like free energy. Another group of people trying to find it, who are both trying to get, it's an interesting plot, actually, a very intricate plot, because there's these two bad guys trying to get Petrosian's secret. At the same time, they're fighting each other. At the same time, they're both after the main character, whose name, interestingly, the character's name is Findhorn, so he's named after a big New Age community in Scotland. I wonder if that's accidental or whether Bill Napier is having a laugh. But it's complicated because the main character, he's very, very crafty. He knows they're both after him, and he knows they're both after each other, so he kind of plays them off against each other while keeping himself safe. Very, very interesting plot indeed. Now, this is the point, right? There's no point us having free energy unless we're going to use it wisely. Because in a single cubic centimetre of vacuum, without any matter or radiation in it at all, there's enough energy there to evaporate all the oceans in the world and basically destroy the planet. And that's a metaphor and a simile that is used in this book over and over again. At the same time, that energy could run every electrical device on the planet for 20,000 years, and it could irrigate deserts. It could. I've often spoken about how you could do no more starvation, no more hunger, no more environmental destruction, no more pollution. Most of the problems that are affecting our world at present would, under Illuminati rule, would be gone. I mean, the Illuminati are keeping free energy from us, but they obviously have it, and if they have it, they can use it as a weapon. And if we had it, even without the Illuminati, we could use it as a weapon if we wanted to. I'm not a utopian. I'm not saying that if the Illuminati went away tomorrow, we'd suddenly sort of wake up one morning as sort of Atlantean priests, we're so pure and angelic. No, we wouldn't. We'd go, when the Illuminati bugger off, right, and leave us to it, we're going to go through there's going to be a very, very difficult transitional period, because we're addicted to the Illuminati, like a junkie is to heroin. And there are no rehab clinics for us to check into. We're going to have to do cold turkey. Who knows what we could do when we break into Area 51 after the Illuminati bugger off? We walk into Area 51, break into the cellars, and what are we going to find there? And when we do find it, what are we going to do with it? Now, you may say this is all hypothetical. No, it's not. Well, it is not, though, because we've already had a taster of what zero-point energy can do if it's unleashed as a weapon, and that is 9/11. Look at Andrew Johnson's website. Check the evidence. The YouTube user. Go to Dr. Judy Wood. Look at what she's done. Look at her. Look at her lectures. Read her book. The World Trade Center was destroyed by zero-point energy, and if it can do that, I mean, that's just it warming up. That's just free energy ticking over. What it did to those buildings, it basically pulverized two of the biggest buildings on Earth easily. But it could do that to an entire city. It could do that to an entire continent. It could do that to the entire world. It's worth thinking about. I'm still in favour of declassifying free energy, but only if it's declassified into the hands of people who know what they're doing and have the wisdom to use it wisely, if that's not a tautology. Well, thank you for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order.